I do this head tilt a bunch or I nod. So now I'm like gonna catch myself doing it. And if you catch me nodding or tipping, maybe we can make it like a drinking game. Like take a shot every time I nod my head or I tilt.
Milk. The official chat gang drinking games are milk.
Milk.
You got to keep the bones strong for harvesting for Nagash is Endless Legions.
Of course, of course.
And fuck that guy.
You know what?
Well, I will do
I don't take nerd stuff that personally. I am loving the fangs though, and now I'm slightly jelly. Like we got to go like all in one of these episodes where like everyone's. I've got my.
I'm all in like every episode.
Every episode is true. It's true.
Except makeup. One day I'll do makeup.
This is Milwaukee by Night. I am, of course, the magical Mr. Mephisto, the most fangorious man in Vampire the Masquerade. No, I don't like it. I'm still gonna have to find my moniker. You can't self-title. It's just not okay. Anyway,
the nickname has come naturally.
Yeah, it does. You gotta happen. You know, I've got a great story for why I'm known as the magical Mr. Mephisto because it sounds like a magical bunny rabbit. That's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm, of course, a storyteller for Vampire by Night, or Milwaukee by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition actual play. I am joined by part of our cast, the final member. This is actually a trend of 4 adventures, 4 sessions in a row. We've had 4 cast members. So the fifth and final member will actually be joining us at a dramatically appropriate moment later on in the session. So
also known as 9 o'clock Central.
Right. But we have enough stuff going on sort of to catch up. Abby, the player, picks from last week, so we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna fuck it. We're doing it live. That's the benefits of a live streaming. So before we get into that, I'll let the cast go ahead and introduce themselves, starting with the aforementioned Abby. How's it going, Abby?
I'm doing great. My internet is finally not being chopped down by the servicemen, so I'm hoping I get double speed, 4K, whatever numbers are out there. But hi, I'm Abby, and I'll be playing our lovely local Nosferatu Pixie, who apparently had her emotional support elder stolen right from under her little nose, which is going to make her cry. And me cry, for that matter.
If it makes you feel better, I had several dice be rolled, and I asked the party very strategically, the coterie now. I'm like, what kind of security systems do y'all have for your havens? If you can cast your memories back like 4 or 5 episodes, that was me trying to figure out when somebody maybe within the coterie, I don't know if y'all were official at that time, had some chicanery planned. Speaking of chicanery, our Tremere tonight is played by Scott. How's it going, Scott?
I'm going to be playing Ben, the resident Tremere, who's always up to chicanery while putting on a happy face.
Fantastic.
Most trustworthy member of our coterie.
Absolutely.
I'm the nicest guy in the group. Look at our track record. Look what we've done this adventure.
I mean, that's why I'm always inviting you to go with me places.
It's not hard to be the nicest in this group.
Speaking of the nicest in this group, how's it going, Charlotte?
Yep. Good evening. I am Charlotte, also known as Foxfire22 on the internets, like Twitch, Twitter, all those places. And tonight I'm going to be playing Elizabeth, and I am going to be up to #JustToreadorThings.
I can't wait. We've got a slow burn of an episode that we've been building to for a while now with some Elysium stuffs, so I can't wait to get into it. Where Toreador are at their best, of course. And last but not least, the man with no name, Ty Brannigan. How's it going, Ty?
It is going well. Hopefully I no longer have a robot voice after switching USB ports for my microphone.
You know, I believed in the heart of the USB. I didn't even do a sound check after you switched. I just believed. And you sound great.
Glad you had that faith, because I didn't. And I will be playing Salvatore, our resident member of Clan Hecata, and hanging out with my parking lot zombie.
I think it's nice to call Cass a parking lot zombie.
Not Cass. He is my parking lot Malkavian friend.
Fantastic.
Body formerly known as Tomlin is the parking lot zombie.
Just Tom for short now, right?
Yep. Tomas, if I'm feeling,
spicy.
Just remember who found that for you.
So it's been a bit of a wild roller coaster so far. The coterie has sort of like quickly established themselves as sort of go-getters, earning Decker's as close to Decker's trust as one can earn. Oh my gosh, look at that.
A resident Malkavian.
Parking lot Malkavian has arrived.
Are we live already?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Okay.
Just throwing you right.
But I have my pants on.
You can tell we're like 11 sessions in because like the rambunctiousness is amped up. But yeah, so we are joined by Cass, our Malkavian, played by Sam. He has no internet presence whatsoever, but like I don't know, that fandom just really taken off. So there's a weird Twitter account out there now.
Yeah, they're all fans of my dark, soulless eyes, apparently.
Yeah,
they say tall, dark, and handsome.
There was a conversation going on, like talking about like your eyes. It just.
It's funny because I get that in real life too. People are like, "Are your eyes black?" Because in certain lights they do. I think I have like, I don't know, larger pupils or something. I don't know. Anyways, they're dark blue, but I've gotten it like people are like, "Are your eyes black?" Your eyes are black. No, they're not.
I mean, it's pretty metal.
It is metal. It's sweet.
Yeah. I see. I don't want to break the kayfabe. I remembered them being kind of like a steel blue, but yeah.
Also, I've done the Twitter thing and announced that we are live, so yay.
Fantastic. And I mentioned it to the World of Darkness. So we are live. We're going to jump in. The coterie minus Pix has gathered in the parking lot with the parking lot zombie Tom, sort of getting ready to go into Elysium. I believe you had called Decker outside, right, to sort of relay some information, or I can't quite recall where you were in that, where we ended last week.
Decker came out, and we had the conversation with him, and then shared the findings under the mall, and he got really mad about Sabat and told us to take care of that Sabat problem, but not to tell anyone. So we're his secret Sabat hit squad.
Yeah, you essentially got to elevate to your own sort of like status, or it's not uncommon for a princess to sort of make a task force, as it were, and y'all get to come up. You're sort of like maybe sitting there in the parking lot brainstorming a really sweet name for the coterie, as we sort of cast our minds back in time a little bit. It's the night prior. The party had just met with Isadora, had just sort of understood the sort of multi-Athenas thing, how she is this convergence between a number of different sort of apocalyptic plots. In so many words, I guess, is what was sort of revealed. And it's essentially approaching dawn. As a vampire, you can actually sort of feel feel it when you have to go dormant, pretty much go comatose, right? Pix returns, sort of winds through the sewer network toward her haven, finds the old little sort of security office, unlocks the door, opens it, and immediately notices Nails is not laying on the bed you left him on. In Nails' place, there's a yellow legal piece of paper that reads, "I know who took him, -SD."
Oh, shit. Question. Did Sundown, our lovely, charming Sundown, give me any way to contact him?
He uses the payphones that have been sort of recently showing back up in Milwaukee of late. There was one outside a laundromat he used a lot. Whether he'd answer that one or not is... It's a chance. It's a dice roll, right? And as you sort of reach for your cell phone to call Sundance, to call this payphone, your phone rings. You see Francis on the caller ID.
Flutter with all this panic. Just first, oh my god, he's gone. Nails is gone too. Oh shit, Francis! And immediately she just picks up the phone with, Francis?
Hey, you left a voicemail? And you kind of maybe have one hand in your other pocket, and you can still feel Francis's phone in your pocket.
Francis, I found your phone at your place. You weren't there. I mean, you weren't picking up. Are you okay? Did something happen? And she is on the edge of panic.
No, I've been home all night. I just phone died. I guess playing Xbox or. You sure you stopped by?
I did. I'm sure I had the right apartment number. I just... it's good to hear your voice, is what I'm saying.
Do you need a ride or something?
I don't know yet, but a friend of mine kind of... I don't know how to put this, but he's kind of missing in action. I'll get back to you on it. Just... situation is developing.
You hear him yawn. Okay, because I was, about to pass out for the evening anyway. He says, you okay? You don't sound okay.
I think Pix is gonna just lie to him. She doesn't know what's going on. Just panic attack is all. Just had some family stuff come up. And you're my friend. I got a little worried. I think I got ahead of myself. Everything's okay, Francis.
Okay, I'll call you later after work. Well, the other job, he says.
The other job? Are you working on a new place?
Courier service, he says, during the day.
Huh. Well, good on you. I hope they pay well. Just, get some sleep while you can.
That gig economy grind, right? He says.
On that Sigma Mill grind set.
Yeah. He hangs up, and you can't help but, sort of retrieve Francis's phone, which you recall getting from his vehicle a couple adventures prior, and you see it has, the sliver of a battery left on it, just enough to see that it's got the little X where a cell phone tower connection should be.
At this point, I don't know about this magic bullshit, but I can handle what's in front of me right now, and that is the lack of a nails on my bed. So I'm gonna skedaddle out of my sewer abode and see if I can contact my lovely Sundown for some information.
You've got about an hour before sunrise.
Oh shit. Is it worth it?
It would be tough to handle this evening.
You know what? I think we're just gonna have to force the panic down. We're just gonna have to sleep and hope that the following night I can contact my coterie and I can talk to Sundown.
Okay. So just to kind of keep the continuity in line, you would head to bed for the evening. You wake up and just sort of shoot out of bed right at sundown.
Yeah, it's like a blink. Just
Yep. And this is where maybe maybe you call them, maybe you don't even think to call the coterie, like you, because when they come to your haven a little bit later on, Pix is nowhere to be seen. So how do we get you? How do you like what's the order of operations here?
I think it would be call sundown. I'll meet you at your place. We can talk about this more because, masquerade rules.
Right.
And I imagine he'll probably say something about, oh, you could probably find your mates here, or at the very least, Pix will call him when she figures out who took him.
Yeah. All right. So sundown, reluctantly on the phone, would have given you a New Haven address. You know what? No, you haven't earned his favor back. He basically the warehouse across the street from my recently emblazoned haven. Meet me there, he says, promptly at 8.
Gotcha. And she'll just hang up the phone real quick. I'll just have to apologize to him in person about the whole Haven thing.
You don't. Pix in her haste doesn't even really think to send a message to the coterie or leave a message for them, and she sort of rolls out there. Do you call Francis for a ride to get there?
I think Pixie's just gonna grab a taxi this time around, an Uber, whatever's around.
Sure. Yeah, easy enough to thumb out a request on the Uber app, and Pix heads to Sundown's place. Much like before, this is in one of the older industrial areas of Milwaukee that sort of half of it is still as dilapidated as ever, and the other half is being sort of revitalized, urban revitalization projects and getting all trendy and hipster. And then kind of in the way background, you can see Lake Michigan, and sort of further north you can see the fairgrounds, and further south it's docks and garbage, and you can kind of see that from the highway overpass as you kind of drive and curve down off of the elaborate highway structure that sort of encircles Milwaukee down into this older area, this older industrial area of Milwaukee. You sort of get dropped off like before a couple blocks away, and walk the rest of the way to the warehouse right where you were told to meet Sundown. You can see the still pockmarked ground of the laundromat.
God damn it, Sal.
Vampires that live in laundromats shouldn't throw insults around.
Neither should vampires with criminal ties, but that aside, I've got a pockmarked vampire to search for myself.
Hey, Pix, glad to see you. You came alone. And you hear Sundown before you see him, and then he's sort of lingering off in the alley just across the street from his old haven. That was my favorite one. And he's looking past, his sort of lidless eyes you can tell he's kind of looking over your shoulder just where the head at this shell of a building.
I'm sorry, Sundown, really. I wasn't followed this time. Pinky swear. But, really, I'm sorry. Won't happen again.
Look, I have an accord, generally speaking, with the more amicable members of, I guess you're calling yourselves a coterie now. But you shouldn't.
I guess you could use that term.
You shouldn't trust them all. It was an in-house job who took your friend.
What?
Information.
If this is a joke, it's not funny.
I've given you enough freebies here, Pixie. Information has a cost. It's my trade, after all. If you want to know who.
All right, deal's a deal. Whatever you want, boon or whatnot. Just let me know where I can find the fuckers that took him.
A boon?
Yes, a boon. Masquerade tradition. I think I'm pretty good at that so far.
You see him look at like a rat that's hanging out on a little trash can lid. She wants a boon. Or she's offering a boon. A minor boon should suffice, he says.
Good. Keep it as an IOU.
He nods to the rat, and you see it like hop down, bang on one other lid, and then like scurry along the shadow.
Shit, witness and everything.
I mean, it's not official. Unless it's recorded, right?
I mean, that's fair, and Pix is just gonna point at her pocket where Batty is just hanging out.
Your, Tremere had their recent ghoul extricate the body of the venerable Malkavian Nails.
God fucking damn it. Look, I know what they say about Tremere, but you're sure it was him, or his ghoul?
I wasn't the only one to see him go into your haven. One of Decker's other set of eyes saw it as well.
Who?
You didn't pay me for that.
Oh, come on, it can be a deal between friends, right? And it's all part of the same bundle.
Julia Calvin, she's of any of the Anubi, of any of Decker's inner court. She's the one with the roughest edges, and that's saying a lot. But she doesn't... The only one who's ever... If you ask me of Decker's two childers, she's the more manageable to deal with, though.
Well, shit. Looks like Decker's got his fingers in this, and I've got some questions to ask. I appreciate the quickness and the willingness to meet with me, considering Pixie's just gonna tilt her head to where the burned-down laundromat is. Really, I appreciate you.
Oh, it's business, he says. I can't, a discerning businessman such as myself doesn't, tries not to make enemies. And he hands you a piece of paper that's been folded up, where the ghoul took nails.
Noted. This is pretty valuable.
To what ends? Well, I mean, you could ask your friend directly, but seems suspicious that he wouldn't tell someone, or that they wouldn't tell someone in their own coterie about such a dealing.
Wait, you could have at least left me a text message. Jesus, I mean, I know about the whole reputation the nerds got, but God, this is just sinister. And with that, Pix is just gonna wave a hand and she's gonna start dialing a number on her phone. And actually, I have a question to Ben. Would I have their number in my phone?
Not that I know of, but Elizabeth would.
Alright, time to call Mom then. So, Pix is just gonna walk down the corner and immediately dial. Like, this is a call, not just a text to Elizabeth.
All right, so that sort of time gap between the mall and Elysium is when I would say Elizabeth receives this phone call.
Between the mall and Elysium when I'm in the truck with Ben.
Or it could, I suppose, in the parking lot would be a little bit more discreet. Let's go with the parking lot. You're in the parking lot, so you can step off to the side, like, oh, I gotta take this type thing, right?
Yeah. Phone's ringing. Not sure what my ringtone is off the top of my head.
Some Rostropovich, like cello suite.
I was more into like Gustav Holst and his marches that he did, but
I only know one cellist.
Oh, he was like more like orchestra kind of deal.
Oh, based. Nice.
Yeah, I hear my phone ring and I'll pick it up and kind of nod to the guys and walk to the back of the truck. Hello?
Hey, Elizabeth.
Hey, how's it going? Are you okay?
I mean, yeah, I'm okay. You wouldn't happen to know about nails, would you? Because I'm looking at an empty bed right now.
Awkward silence for like 5-6 seconds. Yeah, we stopped by your place earlier and found this note on the floor. If you got there after us, that's my footprint on it. I'm sorry I didn't pick it up. But yeah, that note was there. He was already gone by the time we got in. And that's kind of it. We have no idea what happened. All that we really know is Sundown knew something.
Shit, yeah. Look, I'm sorry for accusing you of anything, but I
No,
talked
no,
to a
no.
mutual friend, and apparently Decker's involved, and particularly Ben. They sent their ghoul in there to retrieve him.
I will look back to where Ben is and kind of, like, no emotion or anything, and look back. It's like, to the surprise of nobody.
Yeah.
Was he able to give you any more information about that?
Nope, but I do owe him a favor now. I think we're gonna have to ask our resident Tremere.
All right, well, when you go and deal with that favor, count me in.
Thanks, Elizabeth. By the way, you want me to meet up with you guys, or should I just wait for you at my place?
No, come on by. I think the party's about to get started around here.
Good, I'll call Francis. See you soon, Elizabeth.
Take care.
Yeah, and I'll hang up the phone and text Francis, hey, baby, what?
So that one like low note hangs on the cello or whatever the orchestral arrangement that the diegetic sound took over after the ringtone, right, and the background music started playing, right as the eyes like linger over from Elizabeth to Ben Sahar, and as your gaze sort of meets Ben Sahar's rather neutral, composed look, we get sort of Ben in their same sort of frame and general posture, suddenly in the previous evening's attire, standing inside of the old, I believe it was a church, after the rest of the coterie is sort of like filtered outside, standing in front of Isadora. Remember, for those of you just tuning in, or perhaps, Scott missed that session, so Ben Sahar went into autopilot, and I had a couple of moments in there where it was assumed that Ben did some stuff because I knew that it would very specifically interest Scott. This is one such moment that I had sort of autopiloted in, and the party the coterie has sort of like exited the scene, and Ben was sort of left there talking to Isadora while the party sort of broke off and talked a little bit more to Athena outside before they sort of ended the evening. And Ben, now alone with Isadora, has just, in so many terms, expressed interest in Isadora's blood for a working theory that they have. Isadora says, "You want my blood?"
Yes.
Can I ask why?
So the working theory is that I need elder blood, or a certain potency of blood, and well, werewolf blood has a certain effect on kindred, Cainites, whatever you want to call themselves. So the theory is your old blood, with all its energies and properties, would help me jumpstart waking up nails. Like a thunderbolt in the system.
Decker's words of werewolf blood being like drinking electricity or drinking a lightning bolt or spring to mind. Look, Worm. I'm not in the habit of giving my fluids to any creature of the night. But I do feel a little sour about hurting you.
Would you prefer then you be there when I do it?
No, the more away from your rituals I am, the better, I suspect. Look, it's gotta cost you something here.
What would you want?
Hold on to your hats.
You worm are all about these, about propriety, honor, in a sense, as it serves you anyway. Ever give a boon to a Lupine? She gives a grin. It'll be...
I can think of once.
We'll say it's to honor the only of your kind I trust. But she'll know what to do with it when I come calling.
Dinky.
Too minor, she says.
Fair enough.
How much do you need?
Maybe a pint? I know you regenerate, so that shouldn't be too hard.
When would you like it?
As soon as possible.
You still hanging out at that old, club?
I would almost prefer you to bring it to this address, and I'm going to hand it to her. This is more secluded and away from eyes.
It'll be there next dusk.
My ghoul RJ will be the one there to meet you. So you're not surprised.
You give her a description of RJ, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Who to look for type thing. Can't wait for an elder worm to awaken.
Oh, we'll have a discussion about more worm stuff later, I'm sure.
She has a bit of a wry grin on her face. Like, she's just kind of relished a little bit of the chaos that was sown. Just a little bit. Like, she may be a Ronin Black Spiral dancer. She might have her, what do we call, reservations and regrets. But there's still that part of her that can't help but enjoy a little good old-fashioned corruptive chaos entering the world a little more, you know? Like I said, she is a Black Spiral dancer after all. And we'll cut back to the parking lot, where you can hear the electro swing music booming from the Calatrava. So I'm going to go ahead and read this description here of the Elysium. Everyone is there currently except for Pix. She will show up on a slight delay because there's going to be some travel time, obviously. So this is largely copy pasta from the actual Let the Streets Run Red, so these aren't my words. The Milwaukee Art Museum, also known as the Calatrava, was designed and built by a Spanish architect with the intent to create a building that resembles a bird flying over the lake during the day. The museum hosts a great many works of art, from contemporary and classical pieces to complicated installments, which invite audience interaction. This evening, there's actually an installment about perspective. Many of them are pieces collected, from like more classical artists, but there are interactive installments and more sort of like pop art, very like pretentious, high creative, high strange art pieces that really play with the idea of perspective, shadows and light, perspective drawings taking a weird angle, all kinds of stuff, right? And then some interactive installments where you would like walk through them and you would get different perspectives of the same piece, and whatever angle you're looking at it from, you'd see something different, and so on and so forth. So that happens to be this evening's installment. The Milwaukee Art Museum was once the city's primary Elysium, but neutral ground is largely a myth in a city at war these nights. Scant Toreador, the occasional Malkavian, still keep up appearances, however, and occasionally meet there. The Art Museum offers stunning views of Lake Michigan, though they are, of course, at their best during the day. At nighttime, the expansive blackness captures the beasts of any vampires who take the time to stare, calming any kindred close to frenzy. While La Sombra have in the past explained this as a natural communion between darkness and the beast, one of the city's former inhabitants, a Methuselah named Jacob, stated it's because a creature possessing great facility to pacify the beasts of others lurks in the waters and stares back. On account of Abigail Winter's arrival in Milwaukee, Elysium's old propriety has sort of been dusted off and dressed up. It's been the first proper use of Elysium in a very long time, years for Milwaukee. Many kindred have come out, have actually come to Elysium this evening. In fact, you will find, inspired and sort of spark of inspiration from Abby missing last week, you'll find that there just so happens to be a fair bit of maintenance going on the city's infrastructure in a 3-block radius of Elysium. All the traffic cameras are down with the traffic lights turned off and the stop signs unfolded on them instead. Various intermittent internet issues are hitting all the office buildings in the area, and so on and so forth, making surveillance of Elysium this evening virtually impossible for any prying eyes or any of the tech savvy. As the sort of the hoi polloi of kindred society, in a rare bit, get out for a ball and get out for a turn at Elysium, a veritable shindig, really. It's basically kindred exclusive at this point. Any kind who are here are basically blood balls or they're under the word of another, like kindreds, vouching, right? So it's basically, you'll know the blood dolls when you see them. They're all dressed as part of the exhibits, essentially. This is a kind of a once in a, again, several year event. You can actually see off somewhere in the lake, you can actually see Lucina Evans' yacht, sort of like weighing anchor, just sort of like floating out there, perhaps for some extravagant after party, once all the propriety of Elysium has played out. This is kind of a big deal, all because this one sort of diplomat from Chicago has come to the city, and they want to show her a proper Milwaukee welcome. Now, you'll note that Decker, being paranoid as he is, all of the Anubi and all of Decker's court do not convene at Elysium at the same time. If werewolves were to attack, coordinated-wise, and chances are they'd be able to find out something was going on here with, having to pull rank and get the city to shut down power grids and stuff. It would put all your eggs in one basket. It would make it a really strategic place to attack all the kindred at once. So Decker doesn't really gather his full court. Whilst we're on the subject of court, because there are folks that might be watching at home, Milwaukee is unique, and this is actually one of those things that the World of Darkness did. And I said, yeah, I can use that. Decker doesn't do a traditional sort of Elder Council, Primogens, Harpies, like, doesn't have your traditional ivory tower. Decker observes all the traditions with some bonus laws on top, but in terms of the actual politics of vampire or kindred society, it is Decker's court. Decker has sort of this first line of the Anubi. Decker's former biker gang are the main sort of martial rulers. They've sort of taken up the place of the Primogen Council. It's the Anubi now. And the Anubi are predominantly gangrel, though like Abruha and like some other stuff make their way in there. They're part of, quite frankly, Decker's major agenda to prove that the gangrel are still one of the best clans that Camarilla could have, despite the recent departure of the gangrel clan properly. In place of your sort of like harpies and heralds, you have the messengers, which is an assortment of. There can be any number of messengers. Decker currently has 3 noteworthy ones. At Elysium tonight, there are 2. In place of the sheriff, you have sort of a 2-party system. There are 3 judges. Currently, one of the judge seats is vacant. The previous... Well, we won't go into that. That might be relevant for something. One of the seats is vacant, and there are 2 judges. One of them is Nosferatu named Anastasia. The other is the one of the chairmen for the Syndexioi Corporation, Arjun Shah, who's a Banu Hakim by way of England. So those are your 2 judges. Then there is an executioner who is anonymous that carries out the will of the judges. So rather than like your traditional sheriff, no one knows who the like primary enforcer of Decker is. Now, any of the Anubi at any given time can operate as a sheriff. They have full discretion, sort of up and down the Vampire Council. It is part of what has led to the reputation of Decker as a tyrant prince, because he's taken a very direct control of the city. So, I think that has... Any questions?
Not that I can think of. You laid it out quite well.
Yeah,
It's not like I have to worry about parking.
Yeah, so you have the prince at the top, you have the Anubi, you have the judges, the executioner, the messengers, and then everybody else is just a citizen. Now, some of the old vampire stuff still seeps in. Of note, Lucina, Lucy, as she prefers to be called, Lucy is the former Torador Primogen. She doesn't have a technical rank, but Decker very explicitly listens to her in matters of politics. And this is some of the stuff that we'll go on to, role play through, but I just wanted to set the scene that Milwaukee's a little bit different. If your characters have been in the city for a while, it might actually be like kind of, if you haven't been in the city too long, it's a little bit jarring. They're Camarilla, but they don't do the whole, tower shtick. But those that have been in the city a little bit longer, you kind of get it, So it's just it's something to keep in mind while we play through Elysium tonight. And as I like to communicate to all kindred everywhere, Elysium is actually the most dangerous place in kindred society. You've had your moment with Decker. Decker is not happy about the Sabbat implications, has said, hey, handle this discreetly, but as he gains himself, I have appearances to maintain. And he heads back in. Enjoy the shindig. And then he kind of heads in ahead of the coterie. The coterie's gathered in the parking lot. Y'all have full agency now.
He seemed pleased.
Better than expected.
I never had a doubt it would go that way.
Are we planning on sticking around? I didn't bring my fancy pants.
I know I am. Any of your any of you are welcome to join me if you want.
I need to stay for a little bit, but then I have to go shopping.
Shopping. Sure, we'll call it that.
Yeah, you might want to get some new pants while you're out shopping, maybe a new shirt, because I think you're going to need it.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Oh, you know why. Somebody is not happy with you at all.
Well, I'll get her a step stool and she can tell me all about it.
All she has to do is take you out of the ankles and you're done for.
Out of
I mean,
character. I am insulted.
To be fair, it kind of proved my point why I took it.
How so?
One, her place is being monitored. Found that out. Two, he's not safe there.
Is he really safe anywhere? And are you
If
that
he's
naive?
awake.
Well, fair.
He's safer awake than napping on her couch.
Who's to say he's going to appreciate being woken up, though? Maybe he's having a nice little nap. If he's been sleeping this long, he deserves it.
The old one's
You're just being a
long time.
contrarian now.
Have we considered mistaking him and putting him at the bottom of the lake?
No, because when we've made decisions about him, we've done it solo. Like how he ended up at her house in the first place. She made that decision, and because there's no dissenting opinion, she just did it. So, after I wake him up, if you want to go throw him at the bottom of the lake, you are more than welcome.
I mean, to be fair, at the time, we didn't have too many better options.
Except at my nightclub, except with Sal's people that magically keep showing up with all these guns.
Do you really trust people
sure,
that just
nowhere.
magically show up?
It's not magic. They're reliable.
Again, we had a lot of other places that were much safer, and it didn't happen.
That was convenient.
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started.
That's funny coming from you.
And you can't be surprised that a Nosferatu was watching her haven. Bet you any money he's here right now fucking watching us.
He better not be. And Sal just starts surveying the shadows.
You want to roll your aspects to detect him? And real quick, are you sure that they were surveilling Pix and not a new ghoul that went into the Haven?
You're ruining the whole point of this, Andrew. It's bullshit.
I'm
it's
just,
a bullshit.
I'm just saying, are you sure it was Pix's? Because I didn't have Pix roll the dice. I had RJ roll the dice.
Gaslight Gatekeep Tremere.
This is like the storyteller ruining everything. He needs to shut up.
My bad. Sorry. I just it just might be I don't want my storytelling to be called into question as inconsistent. What with my weird multi-timelines and plots and stuff.
You plan your inconsistencies.
I do. It's unreliable narrator trope, right? What did you get for your sense the unseen?
3 successes on those 4 dice. If he's out there in the shadows, I'm going to kill him.
But then the XP hack.
Technically, we've already met with him once, and he didn't die, so we technically already get that XP. Thank you.
With 3 in Sense the Unseen, you sort of catch a couple flitting shadows. There's a few extra folks here sort of watching Elysium. Maybe the occasional... like you can catch the occasional Nosferatu like flash you a jagged tooth smile as it notices you notice them type thing, and then they sort of like step into the shadows. And you notice that there's just a few extra Nosferatu here than are allowing themselves to be seen. you happen to sort of like pierce the illusion of their obfuscate and catch a couple more. And that was with a decent roll on your part, but who knows how much, if there are better ones at hiding around here, or even other things. Maybe one of them was sundown, but like there's motion and they're kind of moving about.
I mean, you're at Elysium. You're 100% going to be under surveillance.
Yeah, all these fucking sewer rats look the same, right, Ben?
Surveillance
Yeah.
is one thing, but sundown is another.
Just make sure this
Nosferatu weren't
obsession
real
of
people.
yours doesn't get you into trouble.
You don't really like rats, do you?
No.
The slander. So, Elysium. I mean, this is a proper kindred Elysium. You're allowed to, maintain some propriety, etiquette, and so on and so forth. But you're allowed to be kindred here. You've got a proper radius screen. They might even allow your parking lot zombie to become a art connoisseur zombie.
Hold on to
I
your
could
hats,
have
we're
him
just
be an
getting-
installment there. If we're talking about perspective, that's a very interesting viewpoint of undeath.
Didn't Deckard nope that idea?
He did last time. Decker noped my +1.
I think it was like have him wait in the car type thing, but I don't think you were
Yeah.
told yourself not to show up.
No, I was not yet. Tomlin was a don't bring him inside. But
Yeah, because right.
Salvatore will venture in though. It's been a while since he got to experience how socially awkward and unprepared for any kind of interaction with the elite he is.
I thought that happened yesterday, and the day before, and the day before.
It's an every session sort of deal.
It is. It just highlights it when you see him amongst these
Just
sharks.
make sure, just keep away from the shirts.
So, as y'all approach the Calatrava, you'll note that one of sort of Decker's, one of these, when you're watching like a Studio Ghibli film, there's the folks that are like painted in really like high detail in the front ground, and then in the background there's just like watercolor background people. One of the sort of generic watercolor individuals that is a newbie technically in the black leather clothes stops you at the door type thing and just any cell phones, beepers, or other electronics that you need to check or leave in your vehicles?
Are we being told that? I'll walk back to the truck and put something into the glove box. Is the glove box unlocked?
Yes, but make sure that the stuff doesn't fall out.
Gotcha.
Just a mountain of parking tickets, but also magic blood tomes, just like start spilling out of the glove box.
I was thinking more like guns, but sure. We'll go with parking tickets.
Fine. Fair enough. Yeah. Do you stash your phone, or do you keep it on you?
I left my phone in the truck.
Does Elizabeth play up that she's leaving it behind, and then perhaps do some sort of subterfuge to keep it on her?
No, I put it away.
Okay. The rest of the party, clean yourself of electronics. Anyone carrying anything in?
I mean, he didn't say guns, so Salvatore's fine.
He didn't say guns.
Did Salvatore get his own gun, or does he still carry around my gun from the park?
Sal's got his own gun. That was just a gun of convenience.
Okay, I'm just checking.
You've got your gun back.
I gotta keep a checkpoint of all my guns here.
Cass is gonna pull out an old Tamagotchi. And does this count?
Is that thing still alive?
Yeah. What type of Tamagotchi pet is it? Like, what type of animal?
I don't even know.
You can tell a lot about a human by the type of Tamagotchi they have.
I don't even know.
You can tell a lot about a person by having a Tamagotchi.
I imagine a rooster because of an Alice in Chains reference.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So, the fuck.
Cass is my kind of people.
The fuck is that? Says the Anubi in biker clothing.
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started.
I think you're fine.
That makes one of us. Great. And Cass will just walk in.
All right.
Like talking to the Tamagotchi.
It might be my favorite part of the chronicle so far is like Cass with the Tamagotchi. Does this count as electronics?
It's so perfect.
Hey, Cass.
Yep.
Does it have a name?
Sometimes I call him Jerry.
Jerry the Tamagotchi.
Doesn't
like it.
Sal also
I like
have a
it.
Jerry?
No, Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
That damn haircut.
You enter the gala, as it were. It is. I mean, it's a kindred Elysium in an art gallery. It takes the art installment as only the sort of planning and the panache of a Toreador could, and elevates it into the stratosphere. There are interactive exhibits. There's plenty of space. There's plenty of music and entertainment. By way of this evening, DJ Barth, who is also known as DJ Questmark, who's been known to play Club Anything, is a Toreador messenger. He's sort of black, a little bit skinnier. He's wearing like denim with like actually like British like patches and stuff. Looks kind of like a out of place sort of like 80s 90s sort of punk, but then he's sort of got a little bit of like extra sort of accessorizing to it and stuff like that. He's got the not your like Zoomer DJ style. He's got that more like 80s 90s actually like spinning records and stuff like that with some modern technology blended in, and is accompanied by a live band for like the right moments when need be, like in particular like brass instrumentation and brass horns and stuff like that that you can get some pretty good synth of, but like when you have like live brass punctuating the synth and stuff like that, it's excellent. And he mixes in a lot of like weird like James Bond tracks and stuff like that, and like weird like James Bond like quotes and just like bizarro like cinema quotes and stuff like that into the music as it's going. And right now you happen to be in an like weird like electro swing sort of like vibe with him, but he blends in like hip hop, chill hop, and a bunch of stuff. DJ Barth is somewhat well renowned in kindred society in Milwaukee, and even for a spell sort of nationally, as he sort of is a transplant via St. Louis and Missouri, Louisiana. Like he's been around the sort of like up and down the Mississippi River, and eventually settled in Milwaukee. He's known as if you spent any time in Milwaukee whatsoever, he's a known messenger. He tends to be able to pass information sort of like in coded language via his podcast to the kindred. So like if you listen to his podcast, you get like sort of coded information about like Lupine movements and like kindreds, is just stuff you should know living in Milwaukee, using a lot of like code language and stuff that you come to like understand over time. Anastasia is a Nosferatu. She is not clinging to the shadows and not obfuscated. She's actually wearing a sort of like pretty pink dress, like almost plucked out of like 90s, like 80s 90s like sort of teeny bopper movie. and she is a judge. She has a bit of a nervous energy to her, but seems to command the respect of any circle she stands in. A little bit of a juxtaposition there. Lucina Evans, she's not one of... Lucy is not one of the court per se, but commands... still carries the respect of her former title as Toreador Primogen. She's sort of managing the party like one might expect, like an old harpy to. Just sort of keeping tabs on everybody. She's dressed to the nines in her finest sort of like red, her finest sort of like shiny red dress, with the hair like blown out and stuff like that, like fully done. Christian's there. He's in his ripped up jeans and black leather jacket and like Ramones t-shirt, looking sort of ever vigilant. You've got Mercy Mitra is a newcomer on the scene in Milwaukee. She's dressed in a black suit and tie with sort of like sleek long black hair. She is a Bruja, and if anyone is the whip of Arjun Shah from the Sendexioi corporation, it would be her. That would be the private security firm that has helped Decker sort of monitor his city. Arjun Shah himself is not there. Again, Decker's not going to concentrate too much of his own court. You have J.W. Blue, who tends to stand out. He's a black man, former dock worker in Milwaukee's bad times, and he is a very big dock worker. His musculature shows through the very nice blue suit he's trying to wear with a red tie and like a three-piece suit. You can see the man's like musculature through his suit. He is the Hound of Milwaukee. I mentioned the sort of sheriff dynamic. He's one of the people suspected to be the executioner type thing. So he kind of commands that sheriff-like respect in these settings, but he operates a little bit more in a messenger capacity for Decker. He's perhaps the only person Decker trusts. And then you have Julia Calvin. She's a Hispanic woman and Decker's childer. One of Decker's childer. She is on the Anubi specifically. She's like rocking like a leather vest, some like skinny jeans and boots, and looks a little agitated. Like she might want to fight somebody tonight, but this isn't the type of place for that, so she's trying to like mind her P's and Q's type thing. So that's it for Decker's court. You outside of Decker's court, you have Lucy as aforementioned, who is sort of straddling the line between just being a citizen and you have Tessa Green. She's a black woman. She's Tremere. The rumors on the street is that she is Karna's childer. Karna was the former Tremere Primogen, who's no longer in the city, and now has her own entire thing going on, depending on how much your characters understand or know about that stuff. Ren the Duskborn happens to be here. She is to sort of have her brand of the coward revoked from Decker, having had a good word put in for her the last time. And then there's Anton Nedum, who's in jeans, a black leather jacket. He's a gangrel. He has like wild curly hair. He's the former herald of Milwaukee who was just passing through after the old prince died, and he ended up, he left, he came back, and he's happened to stick around for the last couple of years because the city just needs him again. So he's been sticking around. He's got somewhat of a reputation for being like a vampire journalist or kindred journalist. And then there's about 6 other assorted kindred about. Again, any kind here are either spoken for or blood dolls. And the blood dolls are pretty overt. They're dressed to sort of match the various perspectives and stuff like that, and they sort of stand near the art installments and stuff. Abigail Winters is here with her own sort of what's it called? Entourage. So they've there's probably 2-3 dozen blood dolls available. So they've gone all out. Yeah. So yeah, that's the sort of who's who, and then you got the sort of just a sort of kindred that kind of roll through and stuff like that. But the of note from the NPC bios. That was an information dump. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
All right. Question about the blood dolls. Are they consenting?
Yes. Kind of specifically, blood dolls are like they're sort of like they're consenting. They're not here bonded or under like technical coercion. Remember, a vampire's kiss is ecstasy, for a kind usually.
Well, most of ours.
Right. So they're kind who, in one manner or another, became aware of vampires. Got brought in. They're usually someone's herd. They're here under various means. Probably.
Some are addicts.
What's that?
Some are addicts.
Some are addicts. Yeah, it's just there's all manner of
They're
stuff.
addicted to the bite.
Yeah. So they would fall under your consensualist. Like, you're okay. They're here of their own volition. They're not bonded. They're not being coerced. The life of a blood doll can be complicated. Many of them don't get ghouled or ever become vampires. They're all like just Guillermos from What We Do in the Shadows. Like, always want to be a vampire, never are. So.
And where's Pix at this point?
Pix has not yet shown up. I suppose we did like the full-on introduction. We could have a hurried Pix show up shortly into the scene here.
Well, I'm going to leave you gentlemen to your own devices and going to go mix and mingle a little bit.
I'm allowed to mingle.
You are, just don't touch anybody.
And Sal just walks towards Abigail.
How's everyone's hunger this evening?
Lovely. It's at 2.
I'm at 1, I think. Yeah, 1.
Okay.
Hold on to your hats.
It's like it wasn't an hour before we were at Pix's place, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, you topped off on some blood packs in Pix's fridge, but then I think you might have gained one doing some stuff at the mall.
Yeah, we made 1 or 2 rouse checks at the mall. We had satiated ourselves immediately before the mall.
But I'm going to go ahead and say, in the presence of all these like sort of willing blood dolls, the beast understands that it's able. This is a buffet. Like, why wouldn't you indulge? So everyone's going to go ahead and roll a rouse to see if you gain a hunger.
Cass is not hungry.
I see a lot of bastions of willpower here.
Oh man.
I won't. Don't worry, I'll fail.
We are polite creatures of the night. Thank you very much.
Yeah, not tempted by the blood doll. I guess you just don't like art.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, Pix never learned how to eat off people. It was just a, hey kid, you're a vampire now. Drink out of this.
Yeah, fair.
Cass doesn't trust anything here.
I don't like people to see me eat.
I get to eat on camera. Bashful.
There are private installments and stuff, and there's a couple sub levels here as well. So yeah, you're Elysium mingle. You head over you beeline towards Abigail, who's rocking the sort of like a sleek black like sequins dress. She's got her hair up. She's sort of commanding a small entourage, and Elizabeth headed toward, where'd you go?
Lucina.
Okay. You catch Lucina over on the balcony, overlooking Lake Michigan. She's sort of like taking a moment to step away from like entertaining everybody. Like, oh, I'll go get, this. You haven't tried a vegan yet? Oh no. Please, Charles over there at the Worm's Eye installment. They're a hardcore vegan. You must try them, like type thing. And she just sort of like does her thing where she entertains, and she kind of goes and catches a moment over, like over on the balcony, and you sort of walk up behind her.
I'm going to keep my distance at first and kind of gauge whether she wants to be interrupted. Well, not interrupted, but greeted, or if she wants a few more minutes on her own.
Yeah, so how you operate around other kindred is everything, especially at Elysium, right? And you have to sort of like pick up on the moment. So I think this is, if you're trying to sort of, I think there's a sort of like maybe a composure and etiquette, or an intelligence etiquette, your choice, to sort of like play the situation correctly with her.
We'll go with composure and etiquette.
Okay.
Actually, do any of my disciplines work in my favor for this?
So you're technically not supposed to use disciplines at Elysium.
Are you allowed to use disciplines at Elysium?
So you're
not allowed to get caught.
But you're not that's the better way of putting it. You're not allowed to get caught using disciplines at Elysium.
You can bet your ass somebody's using presents at Elysium.
Right.
Oh, that's a whole one.
Roll a luck check. Single D10.
Right. 3.
You're convinced that she's like, you understand that there's a propriety to the situation. You haven't like completely like fumbled it or botched it or misread it necessarily, but you think that perhaps this is the perfect time to talk to her. Like, she's away, like she's been doing a great job of maintaining the maintaining the party and stuff like that, and yeah, she's sort of like staring at the lake, and this seems like a good time to talk to her.
I'm going to slowly walk up beside her. I'm assuming that she's like leaning on the rail, or kind
of... a little like classically leaning on the rail. She's got like a wine glass with some red liquid in it. Could be blood, could be wine. It's a Toreador. Like some Toreador actually claim to be able to enjoy wine. You might know if that's bullshit or truth yourself, but
yeah. So I'm going to come up beside her and introduce myself. Good evening, Lucina. Right? I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting you since arriving in the city.
She sighs a little bit. Yes, and she immediately puts her face back. Yes, Elizabeth it was, and she sort of gives the the light sort of overhand. Lucy, please, she says.
Lucy. I'm not interrupting you or anything, am I?
No, it's quite fine, she says. It's quite fine. I am the hostess after all.
That can take a toll on somebody rather quickly, though, especially in a hopping party like this.
Yeah, it is quite remarkable, isn't it? She kind of beams a little bit at her being in her element again in Milwaukee, in a place that doesn't seem to do this too often. She kind of beams a little bit.
I do apologize. I did mean to to seek you out sooner just to make your acquaintance. I understand you were the former primogen of our clan once upon a time.
In a different lifetime, she says. And at this point, she's sort of turned around and she's leaned on the railing and she's kind of fully facing you.
Well, I do appreciate some rituals of our station, so I would still see you as such, even though the title is not there.
That's the marvel of titles, isn't it? They tend to stick regardless of circumstance. She smiles. Okay, Elizabeth, yes?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of you somewhat. Canada, she smiles.
Correct.
Yeah. Might I ask, why Milwaukee?
Wasn't my first choice. I'll just say that much.
It's it's not many's first choice. Still, I have a hard time pulling myself away from it. From her, she says.
I could see the charms of the city. I'm pretty much here on information gathering, fact finding, that sort of thing.
Hold on to your hats, 'cause we're
It
just
must be
getting
jarring. She says, "Come, join me. It's a spectacular view."
Of course.
Sort of make your way further onto the balcony at this point, and she's sort of leaned over the balcony to sort of like direct your gaze with, sort of where her gaze is. The murky waters appear as like ink spilled from a quill at this point, just shifting and ceaseless, at points hypnotic. You do that thing where you're not certain if the waves are moving or if you are, the longer you stare at them. It's quite intoxicating, isn't it? She says.
Sorry, what? Yes. Sorry.
She's like, I wonder if it's... Oh, never mind. So, information gathering, she says. What nature? Perhaps I can be of someone who still cares for old titles. Maybe I can facilitate some stuff for old time's sake, she says.
Well, we've got a bit of a wolf problem at home, and we've heard that y'all down here in Milwaukee have gotten pretty good at dealing with your own wolf problems, so we thought that we could learn a thing or two from you.
Combination of steak, a combination of stick, she says. And knowing which to use.
No balls?
Hardly. I don't find balls particularly useful in any situation.
Too true.
Smash the patriarchy. She, she kind of, takes a moment to take you in. If I'm to come calling, where can I find you? And she sort of like looks through the glass doors to the balcony to Barth, and like does one of these, and Barth turns up the music, like drops the bass and stuff. She's like, Elysia's not the best place to talk business.
I've been noticing around this city that nowhere is.
So if I'm to come calling.
I can't remember how we were playing it out with like actual technology.
So it is frowned upon. Camarilla, you've got a ban in Elysium. Some folks are known to use burners and stuff. Payphones are back in circulation a little bit, and in fact, part of Sindexioi's like whole shtick with their like sort of security revamp of the city and stuff like that, doing, donating some equipment to the cops. They've also decided as like some sort of like weird community outreach as like free payphones and stuff. So like a couple payphones have shown up some places for reasons, and it's Camarilla stuff under the guise of public outreach, right? So basically like payphones, burner phones are like acceptable. Obviously there's like email, but if you're going to email, you got to be discreet. Camarilla very heavily frown upon technology right now, especially for any kindred business. They understand that you have to like keep up appearances,
Hold on to your hats.
but that's the extent of your interactions with technology.
Gotcha. I would give her a number for a flip phone I have.
A burner phone. She's like, oh. How old school, she says.
Well, my personal infrastructure hasn't had enough time to be built yet.
She kind of gives you a quizzical look. Interesting. And tell me, she stares back at the lake, and kind of gestures at it with you. What is your art?
Music.
Music.
Noise to some.
Do you have an instrument, or are you like Barth here, the personally eclectic?
No, I do have an instrument, and for one of the rare Toreador, it's not my voice, it's not my looks. It's an actual instrument. I play the violin.
Then you must be quite talented. It's my experience that no Toreador is embraced without either talent or beauty. Some of us are lucky enough to have both, and she just kind of like gives one of those like, light sort of bobs and flicks of the wrist.
But never none.
Right. Perhaps I'll give you a call and I'll have you play something for me.
Please, I would like that a lot. There are a few things I would like to discuss with you as well away from your party here. I don't want to bring too much doom and gloom upon this place.
Oh no, I'm afraid there's quite enough of that. And she glances. Rolly! I think you're going to roll a perception to see where her gaze goes on this one, because it was very subtle. This was like one of those, like, she hopes you see, because she's trying to give you a hint.
Okay, what do you want me to roll? Sorry?
It's going to be wits and awareness. Or, I mean, since this is a social situation, it can also be like a composure and subterfuge.
No, I'll stick with wits and awareness.
Okay. Love seeing new folks showing up in chat, everybody. How's it going?
Road and bones. 3 successes.
You see her glance at, like, give one of those, like, quick, subtle sort of glances towards Abigail Winters.
Well, I would prefer to leave that to others. I don't want to be the cause of any of it.
No one does. No one does at all. She says, still.
I don't know about that one. There are a few around here that seem to revel in that sort of thing. Chaos, almost, you'd call it.
Perhaps they should talk to the Anubi. And with that, we'll cut to somebody else in the party. Who wants to take a crack at the folks in this room? We can circle back to the Toreador conversation.
I wanted to talk to Mercy.
Cass is immersed with his Tamagotchi.
I sent you some DMs, Cass, regarding the disappearances. I'm not certain if you got a chance to see those yet. So Ben wants to talk to Mercy. Salvatore beelining it to Abigail. What's Pix doing?
I'm assuming that at a narratively appropriate moment, Pix will have arrived, and perhaps at the end of Ben's conversation, she's gonna, politely, in Elysium fashion, pull him aside for a little chat.
I love that. I love that. All right. So let's we'll take a quick intermission. This is a good time to like catch up on chat and check in with folks.
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started.
I feel like I walked in the end of you guys having a moment.
No, I was mostly just talking about my 2-year-old telling grandma about Cthulhu.
Oh, man. And also, the new slash ship that we've got going on, Dracula x Cthulhu. I think it could be
Yeah.
particularly
So, Sam,
tasty.
when I came home one day, right, I look at my bookshelf, and this is what I see. Apparently, my daughter thought Cthulhu and Dracula needed to kiss.
Think about it. It's a match made in hell.
Be some weird kids.
There's some great kids, if you ask me.
Probably the most
Dracula-
well-adjusted kids that you'd find. Dracula and Cthulhu, why can't you just be normal?
Why can't you just kiss and make up?
We'll pick up with the Ben Sahar. They're walking over to Mercy. Mercy, like I said, sort of like rocking the black suit and tie. She's got like the long black hair, kept back in all business mode at the moment. Like a bun, in case she needs to absolutely obliterate somebody, like the private security task force in one person that she is. And yeah, so you walk up. Sorry.
If this one doesn't get your body moving, I'm
Did
sure
Ca-
your pulse
Nope.
might be dead.
Hear myself in double words. Trying to catch this message from Cass. Interesting. Okay.
Also, I kind of picture like Hicks coming in and Cass is at the entrance and he looks up from his Tamagotchi and he's like, "Oh, hey, little Bet." And she just like storms past him, beelining for Ben.
Oh yeah, like she is like the most restrained kind of rage. Just
All right. Just making sure. Because you found out that Mercy might know something. Was
Right.
what the DM was. So, all right. So Ben, you approach Mercy. Mercy just kind of like she spots you coming. Sort of purses her lips. Gives a deep sigh. Can I help you?
It's been a while.
She gives you one of those looks. Like, no, it hasn't. Don't blow my cover, asshole.
So I need to talk to your boss because I need to find out about hiring some security for a party that I'm going to be throwing in the near future.
My boss, she says? Or, more specialized security.
Your boss.
My employer. I could arrange a meeting with Arjun.
Although, is he is your actual boss in town?
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started.
A friend is, yeah. I don't have a boss, she says. I have employers and acquaintances.
Sure.
But he's around.
Is he at the other Elysium? Or the other bar, I guess?
This point, DJ Questmark is like blaring the bass and the music, and the brass horns are kicking in time. He's around. She kind of like says to you.
All right, well, I look forward to talking to Arjun, and I will leave you to it.
If you're looking for him. She just kind of like quirks a brow.
I have a few things to ask him.
He'll find you.
Sure he will.
It's one of those conversations that is pure subtext. Fantastic. It is at this point that that a rather flustered Pix comes in. We have the Cass sees Pix come in.
It's quite. There's a few, excuse me, pardon me, and then it's like that scene in It's Always Sunny when Charlie and Max spot each other from across the restaurant. Pix just has this manic look in her eyes. What does Ben think about that?
Mercy's taps a hand on your shoulder, just like, good luck with that. And she walks just like elsewhere.
Cass will follow her.
Yeah, Pix is just gonna... She is clearly doing her best to restrain herself. Her fists are clenched, but she's, she's forcing herself to walk through this crowd before she's finally looking up at Ben.
Yeah,
with little arms crossed.
You walk past one of the interactive art installments where it's different shades of red crystal that you stare at the same black and white painting, and it's called like Rage, and you just have, and we get to see like the reverse image of the camera panning through the crystals, staring at Pix in all the different shades of crystalline red as she walks over towards Ben, and Cass follows. And Cass just sort of like happens to catch the clips in between where the camera isn't with the crystal, and we just see like neutral Cass.
Oh, Cass will follow Pix up to Ben, and then he'll see Mercy walking off, and he'll go and like,
okay,
just like give Ben a quick look, like you're gonna get it, and then follow Mercy.
Fantastic.
So, Mr. Sahar, it's been a while. A night even.
It has.
You wouldn't happen to be aware of a mortal, maybe even a ghoul of that matter, poking around my haven, would you?
I would.
Why didn't you tell me? You could have left me a voicemail, a message. Now I
I'm not
own
leaving
Sundown.
a voicemail on your phone while you're out looking for your friend who you also managed to lose.
Look, I'm just saying you could have left me a letter. Now I'm in debt to fucking Sundown. And you know how
We can fix
be.
that.
I'm not letting you and Sal burn down yet another house. At that point, the second Inquisition is going to get suspicious.
You do know where we're at, right? Remember, the Camarill's official stance: we do not attack other vampires.
Well, we aren't going to commit any more arson. Just
Never
what did
committed
you
any
do?
arson. I didn't even take a polygraph test on that.
Not like I'd pick anything up. But where is he?
He's at my house.
Your house. So you haven't diablerized him. Curious.
I was curious about it. I just told you.
Well,
You didn't
considering
ask
that
me for
you
it.
snuck into my home and stole someone who was under my care, I would be very shocked that you
Yeah.
hadn't diablerized him.
For care. I mean, I guess, burying a bone in a yard is kind of like caring for something.
What's the end to this? If it's more of that tree bullshit that Sal's been on, then...
Man, you're just vomiting from the mouth.
I'm the one vomiting from the mouth.
Are you sure you're not
Only
a
raise your voice a
Mohican?
little bit. I beg your
just saying
pardon.
You're just saying all sorts of
At
craziness.
least Cass has the decency to go and speak to me about things like I'm a member of this coterie. Now, what is your plan in with him?
Anton, the gangrel with the sort of wild curly locks, comes over and like sort of puts hands on either of your shoulders and just like, hey, y'all see the worm's eye perspective piece? And he walks you around like a corner in a couple installments, and yeah, see, it's really great. It's like there's a dark room and everything, and like opens the door and like, look, Anton, for a kindred, a gangrel. Where's the gangrel well? This is a vagabond. This is a drifter, right? But it's so incorporated into his very being. This sort of like traveling, in a different lifetime, the like Jack Kerouac sort of like traveling poet, traveling journalist sort, right? But in this case, it's a scraggly person who probably owns a VW bus. And drives around like writing freelance journalist articles and trying to get them published, and then like cracking the occasional werewolf skull on the side. Instead, the ratty leather jacket, blue jeans, and a white T-shirt that's got like various like stains on it, and like you can see like campfire burns from when like the fire they've built and not frenzied in front of has like sent splinters and caught the shirt on fire type thing, right? Look, Elysium's a dangerous place, and as the coterie everyone's eyes are on, I'll leave you to enjoy the installment. It's quite great, he says, and he turns around and walks back.
I probably should have thought of that. Just as he goes, takes a look at him, but immediately.
Switch a drink?
No.
I don't know. You like that goofy juice. I saw that too.
Firstly, you're not going to quell my attitude or escape this matter with offering me a drink. I'm not some woman that you're trying to seduce. Secondly, what did you do with him?
I already told you.
But what are your plans with him?
He's going to be waking up soon.
What? You're waking
Yeah, he's not going to be at a table at your house.
I have to admit, this is not what I was expecting when I found him vanished. How do you intend to do this?
I'm not going to disclose all details here. Thanks. I keep trying to tell you that, and you keep just...
You know what? Fair enough. Just fill me in after. Please.
I can take you there when it happens.
I'd like that. Quite a bit.
I mean, you are the only reason he's still alive.
Quite true, and I appreciate that you acknowledge that.
No, like he was going to be at Juice Box dinner. And then I was like, nah, Pixie likes him. I'll figure out how
And
to
you
wake him
wonder
up.
why I
And then
was
what
so
happened?
sure you diablerized
Loses your
him.
minds. Do I look like Sal?
Well, you certainly seem to be friendly with each other, but that aside.
I'm friendly to everybody and look to help everyone.
Sure.
What I do.
For the sake of the coterie, I'll believe that.
Cass catches up with Mercy, who's they call this shit art, she says, and she's just like staring at some, like God's perspective, and it's a single black dot at the center of like a white canvas.
Anything passes, I suppose.
Told it's about intent. Cass? She turns. You haven't met her formally, and she knows your name.
I see my reputation precedes me.
It does. Mercy, she says. Mercy, Mitra.
Well, I'm hoping you live up to your name.
Or that I don't read Shakespeare, she says.
If this one doesn't get your body moving, I suggest checking your pulse because you might be dead.
I'm hoping... Well... Alright, look, I'm looking for some, acquaintances of mine who've disappeared. You might know them. They're well, they would never be seen in a place like this. I'll put it that way.
She looks around for like any kindred eyes that might be taking interest in the conversation. You're talking about the disappearances, the VA, the...
Yeah.
I've a acquaintance who's interested as well. I suppose you run with Ben. And Ben requested a social call.
That seems to be his thing.
Seems to be their thing indeed. Look, I probably don't need to tell you that Pentex isn't what they appear to be. My suspicions are on them.
Do you have any evidence?
Enough for some people, not enough for others.
Castle just kind of give her a look like you're talking to a Malkavian.
Enough for a Malkavian, she says.
Alright. And, this contact meeting with Ben, they'll know as well?
The only person I trust.
Alright.
She leans in close. My sire. He doesn't like his presence being public, especially in a city like Milwaukee. You'll have to forgive my discretion. And she, leans away. There's a history here. But I don't have to tell a Malkavian about history either.
Castle shake his head. No, you don't. Well, as for Ben, I trust them too, so I guess I'll just wait on this social call.
He's about to have a party at his abode. See that you're invited. And I didn't make the finger quotes there for the word party.
Well, of course they'd invite me. Castle just grin awkwardly and hugely.
We'll have Ty sort of encroaching on the Abigail entourage. Ty notices that Decker is sort of kind of deliberately making himself, well, in my notes he's supposed to sort of try, he's sort of staying, lingering kind of close to JW Blue. And the coterie has, as a whole, has become painfully aware of the lack of presence of Akawa this evening, who has kind of been one of the main go-tos for Decker. So Abigail's there.
Salvatore just approaches directly, no etiquette, no decorum, and says, "A moment, please, Abigail."
For you, darling, I've 3.
Then I will be quick. When we last spoke, I didn't get a chance to inquire, but how fares the Windy City?
Much the same, she says. All drama, I'm afraid.
And I have not heard from home in a bit. Carlo, you know of him?
Your sire, yes. We've interacted, she says. A very discerning individual. Curious he'd send you here, though. To Milwaukee, of all places. I know why I'm here. Do you know why you're here?
Family business. Foothold.
Right. A foothold in a city at war.
Your hats, 'cause we're just getting started.
He knows I have a proclivity for violence.
Then perhaps you are at home.
How are you finding your welcome here? And Salvatore, with all of the social etiquette of probably like a tank, not a bull, like he's a full-on tank, looks at Decker.
I want you to roll a charisma. And I want you to roll a charisma. And I feel that this is this is actually genuine or sincere. So, like a leadership performance persuasion, your choice. But it comes from a place of sincerity, which is why it's not your best possible attempt at politics. Ooh! Oh,
Let's go.
that's beautiful. I find the princess methods intriguing, if not a little simultaneously antiquated and bizarre. He runs a tight ship. I'll give him that. And the werewolf problem does seem to be taking care of itself. And yet, I can't help but feel that something else is amiss here. Some great secret kept by everybody that nobody talks about and nobody lets others in on. But my welcome, it's what you'd expect when a neighboring
This one doesn't get your body moving.
fiefdom
I suggest checking your pulse 'cause you might be dead.
sends a ambassador.
Diplomat.
A what? Yes.
Diplomat, yeah.
Yeah. Sends a diplomat. A lot of decorum, a lot of dancing. Elysium isn't the place where the real business gets done. It never is.
No.
I'm being paraded about. Decker wishes to make sure everybody knows who I am and what I look like. Get a head count of those I keep near and those I talk to amicably. She smiles at you. A very small smile. Elysium is where the knives get sharpened. And you're a knife, aren't you? She puts a hand on your chest. Or like one finger.
A fair assessment.
You said family business. But what are you? doing here? I'm not interested in what your sire has you doing. What are you doing here? As one denizen of the Windy City to the other. As one diplomat to another.
Making ends meet.
Then we're in the same business. With that, we'll cut back to Elizabeth and Lucy.
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started.
My favorite part of the swing music is the voiceovers.
Elizabeth is, rather, our Charlotte is absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just bopping to it despite like the tenseness of confronting.
I know.
And I'm just like, survive.
I don't have I guess I didn't have ominous club music track played, but we'll have to work on that. We'll cut back to Elizabeth and Lucy. What do you see when you stare at it? She says. And you're both staring at the lake again. And you can go ahead and roll a willpower. Ah, your voice is muted. Nope. You gotta yell, I hate you, I hate you. We learned that from 2 sessions now of the same. Yeah. It's the fangs. The fangs, like, the mic is intimidated. Although I did open up my books this time, so go me.
How about now?
Yeah, hey, there we are. You're back. Yeah. She asks, so what do you see when you stare at it? They say that the artist's insights are the best when trying to make sense of this place. And then roll a willpower.
Willpower. 3.
You're doing that thing again where you're not certain if it's the lake moving or yourself. And then at some point, you almost begin to see sort of like bars and chords like you're reading sheet music. The waves, they sort of have a rhythm to them. A waveform, you know? And
If this one doesn't get your body moving, I suggest checking your pulse, because you might be dead.
check our pulse. As you sort of stare at this sort of like ebb and flow, these lines that begin to form, still in the pitchest of black color, even darker than what it appears to the kind. When kindred stare at Lake Michigan, they see a void. Like I said, like an ink spill. You begin to hear 2 different melodies. Almost like when music, when you have 2 different verses sung in time at 2 different pitches and 2 different tones, but they just happen to harmonize. It's doing that, but then it gets out of sync, and then it gets back in sync. As if there's 2 different voices singing 2 different songs, and every now and then they overlap. And one of them is mournful, somber. The other, destructive, angry.
So did she ask, what do I see?
She asked what you see. But you're a musician.
I see a lake with a story.
Me too. I see a story of loss. What do you see?
I can hear the loss in it, but I see discord and discordant forces.
One story or two? Or two voices, same story?
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting...
Well, there's multiple parts to a story.
Hmm.
Multiple parts to a song.
And instruments and performers. Indeed. Indeed.
All I know is I don't like it.
And I'm intrigued by it.
Oh, I can easily see that. 100%. It's hard not to be.
I think humanity is imperfect. That, we kindred are an iteration of that imperfection.
We are the search of perfection.
Or its reflection. A dark mirror. Still, it's a fun riddle, isn't it? Humanity. I've guests to entertain. I'm afraid I've lost myself some. I'll call you.
I look forward to being able to talk to you more.
Please, enjoy the installations. And, well. She gives you like one last nod as she sort of heads back inside. Elizabeth can't help but feel her gaze pulled back to the lake again. And without that sort of, that moment has sort of passed, and you just see the sort of like, this shifting sort of ink black, and then you can see the little peaks of moonlight cresting as it cracks on the rocks, and it's a lake again.
If this one doesn't get your body moving, I suggest...
Yeah, I'll turn to the lake and kind of like just lean on the railing for a little bit until something catches my attention.
Oh my. Another willpower.
Nope.
You were free. I let you be free.
Another 3.
It's sort of that like end of a really long song. You know, like a sound bite that you leave on the end as like a punctuation mark. And both voices become discordant and at odds with each other completely. And you see these sort of two terror faces on either side of the lake smash into each other and as the waves crash together and spurt up in front of you, and you're sort of like knocked back from the lake. Like there's two sort of like roaring off-pitch voices that just sort of collide as these two waves hit, and you sort of...
Yeah, I'll take a step back, kind of balance myself, and take another step back and another, and then turn around and start to move towards some of the art where I know the art is not moving. So none of the organic installations, more of the 2D installations.
Yeah, there's paintings and such about, you know, there's various perspective paintings from famous artists too. You know, like classic plays on light and fruit, like, you know, like old school stuff. They went wide on the perspective theme. Some MC Escher, because Escher fucked with perspective, like one original, right? And the coterie sort of finds itself reconvening
Hold on to your hats,
back in
we're just
Elysium.
getting started.
I'm gonna ask Elizabeth if she saw the Loch Ness monster because she's out there a long time.
No, I can't say I did.
Bummer. They said there's something living in there.
It's what I keep on hearing.
Right. You don't think Issa would know about that, would you? You know, they're all one with nature, all that jazz.
I would keep her name out of these halls.
Oh, right. Fair.
Just keeps going.
To be fair, it's my
Anyone-
first Elysium.
Anyone find it interesting? Kawa is not here.
Oh, shit, you're right. I haven't seen him at all.
I miss story time with Akawa.
I still need to find this gardener before I talk to him again.
The gardener?
You don't think the gardener's the one that was in the basement, do you?
Unlikely.
Based off what information we have.
You don't mean the really scary one with the limbs everywhere, and don't tell me you guys have gotten involved with that.
God,
Involved
stop
is a
talking, Bix.
interesting term.
That's supposed to be a secret.
Look, I may be an Nosferatu, but I'm terrible at secrets.
If there was an apple in here, I would put it in your mouth right now. You're hungry. Eat.
If you wish to leave Elysium to have a more private conversation.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, that would be an excellent idea.
Any other social calls?
Oh yeah, Ben.
Not here.
I hear you're having a party.
Oh, absolutely. It's what I do.
I'm invited.
Or so I hear.
I'm invited, right?
Yeah, you're going to be in charge of show first. You got a particular set of skills.
Oh, God.
Please don't make him a valet.
No. I mean, I have a
What?
friend who could use a job. Francis. He's great at driving. He drives pizzas to places intact.
Do you trust me now?
I mean, I kind of have to. It's part of being this whole coterie thing. We're like, what, 4 dates in?
Sure.
Just to reset a little bit, Elizabeth came here, in case you forgot, like, a detail. Elizabeth had, like, a pretty good fixed mission of trying to get a boon from somebody. I feel like you had some juicy info to trade or something like that. Is that something we glossed over or didn't give you an opportunity to pursue before we switch scenes? I just want to make sure you got an opportunity to do that.
No, decided to discuss that at a later date, at a later time, at a later place.
All right, got it. All right.
But I would like to go up to Barth and find out where he's playing next time, so I can make that introduction another time.
All right. Barth loops some Wu-Tang shit with the organic horns and stuff like that, and steps aside. I've got a bit of an itinerary I try to keep to. I got to record a couple videos for I got to record a couple shows for the podcast. Try to keep on top of that. But if you know of any parties,
I just heard mention of one. Let me get the details. How can I get a hold of you?
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started.
hands you a business card. It's clean, he says.
Perfect. I should know more by tomorrow evening.
Excellent. Excellent. You know, you're that new Toreador from Canada. We haven't had that much chance to talk.
No, this is the first chance I've really had a moment to settle and kind of get to know everybody else in the city. Been kind of busy since I first got here.
Yeah, Decker's a real ball buster, or other parts buster, he says.
I've had no issues with him so far.
Yeah, the whole citizen kick, right?
Yeah. Sounds like I'm in the club.
He's not all bad. He's just very focused on business. He's not the old Decker either. You're like literally behind the amps and the music's blaring out, right? This is the place for noise cancellation. You'd have to roll a hella good Auspex roll to hear, and even then, if you're using Auspex enhanced loud, your senses are being blasted out by the subwoofers right now. So,
Old Decker?
yeah, it was. Look, I've been in Milwaukee a while, not as long as some other folks, but I've been here a while, and I remember before he was Prince. He's a different man. He was a different man then.
Well, power changes all of us at one point or another.
So I've heard. Power changed the old Prince too.
What's that saying? Power corrupts?
Or the city corrupts. But hey, this party sounds pretty awesome, he says. I'd love to spin for y'all. Just, like I said, the line's clean.
Yeah, like I said, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow once I find out more information on it. What are your rates?
Don't worry. Clan to clan.
Well, I must be clear that it's not my party, per se.
Then that means that anything else I procure there isn't a slight against the clan.
It's fair.
Look, I'm a messenger. We got to get the message out. You're already doing me a solid if this is as exclusive as I think it's about to be.
I don't know, with the way that people are talking about it already, I don't know how exclusive it's going to be.
We'll make sure. I'll make sure it's exclusive enough.
All right, well, I'll pass your information on and talk to you tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
Then I will turn and walk away.
Barth flips his cap back up and and hits the turntables with a fury when he gets back to them, and really kicks up the music.
I'll take a look at the card, see if I can try to remember the numbers, and then hand it off to Ben when I get there. It's like, hey, if you need music for your party.
Sure, we can try it out.
All right. The coterie is exiting to head to more private locale. It's at this moment that Jonathan Guerreran comes in, and the child soldier, the one who's was embraced very rather young, teens, right? Walks past the coterie with just this smug grin and heads towards Decker.
Well, that has all the markings of ill omens written all over it.
Gosh, it's like a raven flying over a battlefield, or right before one.
Do we stick around, see how this goes, or do we get out of here?
I don't know about you, but I'd rather not get in the middle of Decker whenever he's got planned. At the very least, we'll hear about it.
I kind of want to see where this goes.
I got 15 more minutes to kill.
You too.
Thomas heads over to Decker, whispers something in Decker's ear directly. With Barth kind of in charge of noise control, it's virtually impossible to hear. Like I said, if you try to use Auspex, the music's just going to blow out your eardrums. You know, it's like a grenade going off at any given time with that bass kick. So it's just... And Decker just... kind of one of those, really sort of looks. And, Thomas whispers again. and you see them kind of like melt out. They head over to Lucy, and then Lucy just sort of like gestures, and they head like out the back way, basically, sort of classically.
Is there any way, any sort of like wits awareness or anything where I could lip read? Or get like some sense of what was
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, I'd say you could try to read some lips. Maybe some of your military experience comes in there. Perhaps you have like a flashback of like being like a decoder or like on the comms and lip reading or a sniper. You know, like you're cycling through these lifetimes of war, and you focus on the lips. Remember, you can spell a willpower. You can spend a willpower to re-roll 2 failure dice, provided they're not hunger dice.
What do 3 zeros mean? I know 2 makes it 4. What does 3 mean?
Yeah, so you get 5. That'd be 5. Your doubles are your pairs double basically.
So that'd be a total of. So if I got 3 zeros, it would be 5. So that's 6 successes.
You make out the word honor on the lips. And maybe the word location.
Castle. Sorry, go ahead.
No, do your thing.
Castle just sort of said, "A family matter."
In what regards?
We'll talk about it later.
That might be best.
Right, especially something as touchy as the prince's family matters.
Yes, but it's also one of the reasons why I wanted to start talking with Lucy.
Specifically, Salvatore, you notice Abigail. When the word family matter, you notice Abigail kind of like quirk a brow and look over. Everyone else is kind of focused, and you've been sort of like single-minded on Abigail. Ms. Abigail Winters. After she perks up even to the terms family matters, she heads over to Lucy, and those two begin having a conversation.
Family can be complicated.
And you get this like classic perspective, like mirror down the middle of like Abigail and Lucy. You know, like their dresses mirror each other, their demeanor mirrors each other, like where they're standing is framed in different lighting, like the whole works, like the film school student doing it too hard, too obvious type of like dark mirror reference, like these two characters standing like with a divide, even the tile puts them on different sides of the chessboard type thing. Continue, Coterie.
Where to next?
You guys stay right here. I'm gonna go flip some tables.
Okay. What does Elizabeth do?
I'm gonna go walk up to Lucy and Abigail and ask to borrow Lucy for a moment.
Of course, darling, says Abigail.
Alone, please.
Oh no. No,
Well,
no,
you
by
can
all
make a
means.
giant club.
She says, and she walks over to where Anton is like trying to is just kind of like trying to be inconspicuous somewhere. And she goes over to Anton, and you see he seems uncomfortable in her presence, and Julia Calvin comes over, one of the Anubi, Decker's other childer, comes over, and they're like having a weird sort of verbal joust that you can't quite make out under Barth's sick beats. You borrowed Lucy.
Okay, it was Honor that we heard, or that Cass scene, right? Sorry, Honor Mercy, if I recall rightly, is a character in Guild Ball. So I keep on kind of getting that mixed up as like the same person mixed over.
Mercy is a reference to Lex Luthor's awesome, badass bodyguard, and that's incidental. Honor is the Vampire the Masquerade canonical childer of. So I understand Honor and Mercy, but it does make a really cool like thematic addition. But Honor is Decker's childer. The could become Prince, could start an anarch movement type character. Mercy is like a support character, essentially. So
She's my BFF.
Ben's BFF.
I'm gonna try and I want to try and get close to her ear to be able to speak as quietly as I can, with my back turned to everybody else, so that nobody can see my lips move.
Prudent. Okay.
We just heard something about Honor, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about next time we met, was there may be a conspiracy against Decker involving Honor.
Oh.
Hold on to your hats, 'cause we're just
She was there conspiring with a werewolf and another one of our sect mates. I'm not going to say who just yet, but there is some concern.
She cups her mouth and whispers back, "We mustn't linger too long. This, in and of itself, will stir the pot. But what's your angle? What would you...
I am but a simple emissary here for one reason alone.
To fight werewolves.
To learn about werewolves. I'll leave the fighting to others.
It seems your date just got moved up in my calendar.
Hence why I thought it was prudent to come and reopen this conversation.
Perhaps at best, we meet tomorrow. Do you have a place?
Do I have a place?
You might know of a party.
Yeah, but everybody else is going to be there too.
Who knows? Or you've got your haven. You've got you're a consensualist angle. Like Sarah's. She's probably got a place that maybe isn't have tabs kept on it yet. I'm sure that you could get creative and come up with something if need be.
Yeah, you know what? I got a place. Call me tomorrow and I'll give you the details.
Playing it tight to the vest. I respect that, she says.
this one doesn't get your body moving, I suggest checking your pulse.
She kind of gives a little bit of a you see her almost chest beat. She's undead and stuff like that, and she just, oh, I've forgotten what this was like. Old Elysium. And the hands off the mouth, she says it out loud. Just, oh, I've missed this. And she looks at everybody in the room who's trying to do all the politics, and she just gives them all the most like boastful grin.
At that point, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take her hand in mine and just kind of like smile and like friendship that there's nothing conspiring just going on here. No, not at all. This is just two Toreador talking.
Manipulation performance.
Which in and of itself is politicking and plotting.
Oh no, like it's manipulation because it's getting you the angle you want on it. It can be subterfuge too, if you'd prefer.
I'm a Toreador. Of course I'm going for performance.
Yeah, I figure.
Well, this
When
is going
Toreadors
on.
say that they're just hanging out with friends, you know they're full of shit.
This
Plotting
is why
a
Toreador are the best Ventru.
As this is going on.
It's like a
so
venture that tells you they don't want to be in charge. You know they're just full of shit.
You can willpower if you'd like 2 of those dice.
Yeah, let's do it.
Don't you have a lore sheet or something like that before all these lowborn clans to do that for free or something? Or no, it's ignore your bane. Sorry.
No. The lore sheet that I am using, I haven't spent the points, but I got the points to spend.
Yeah. I thought there was something with willpower in there.
Yeah, 1 second.
There's something like where like when you're around all the dregs of vampire society, you could just own the scene or something.
By dregs, if you
nice way
mean
to refer-
low clan, then yes.
Yeah.
That's such a nice way to refer to your coterie.
Yeah.
Hold on to your hats, 'cause we're
Nosferatu, Malkavian, both low clan. I think Hakata's low clan. Tremere might not be usurpers. They might have usurped their
Depends
way.
at which point in history.
Yeah.
Tremere
transitions
is
were higher.
sometimes considered high clan.
Right.
That's so old world.
Nothing about Hikata is low clan. We're the best. We
They're
stand
the best
alone.
at something.
We're at like 10
They're the-
viewers right now. Double-digit viewers. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the 1 point doesn't do anything for this.
Okay. All right. I thought there was like a pull rank, like high clan, low clan moment, but no. Yeah. So if you want, you can spend willpower, re-roll 2 dice.
I mean, 2 dots into high clan is that one. Sway the low, but
Pathetic.
we'll work up to that.
All right.
So how did we
Bellator
say?
nudges Cass. I think that's a sailboat. Looking at a painting.
Oh God! Did you just
Okay, that did
Mallrats reference? I don't. I'm just gonna. I mean, half the dice. I'll give you. I'll give you the two successes converted.
Yeah, we still have to figure that out because
Yeah. I mean, somebody who's programmed the Coyote and Crow, like Foundry.
I'd have to get in there and look at.
You might have to
source
like if
code.
there's some sort of like willpower and you just click and you can reroll 2 dice or something like that, right? So look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that plug of a Coyote and Crow right there. Yeah. So I'll give you the 2. So for 5. Yeah. There's like there's a moment is what I'm gonna say. I would like for you to basically mark an advantage dot on your sheet to be determined off scene as you sort of like command some respect here in this moment with Lucy, and you even Lucy's taken a little bit back by your gesture, the sort of assertiveness of it. It wasn't what she, I mean, she was like already doing her like sort of thing, and then you sort of like interjected, and you did so rather successfully. So, but she gives you a little bit of the like game recognizes game sort of look. And you went from like, in that moment, you went from maybe a little bit of a who's using who dynamic to a little bit more of a rivalry dynamic. You could almost feel the power shift from like a teeter-totter to more of a like arm wrestle. Does that make sense? You know, where like the balance is shifting back and forth to a little bit more of a like both hands are on the lever moment.
Castle say, looks like that ship's rocket.
As they're both looking at the perspective painting on the with the little dots and shit.
Are we sure it isn't sinking?
Not yet.
We can end it there, or if you want to do the closing action conversation you're going to have at a secure location. Because that's a pretty good moment with the, or is it sinking? And I noticed Abby's a little tired.
Maybe a little.
I mean, you've been playing all the RPGs and doing all the school and stuff, and it's 109 degrees, so I get it.
I've been role-playing in an oven, but I do want to see how this conversation ends. I'm good to go for that.
All right. So we'll the coterie relocates to a less eavesdroppy location. I would like the folks with Sense the Unseen to roll it as they exit.
Is that wits awareness plus aspects?
Yes. And technically your blood potency, if you have a higher blood potency, you roll that extra die into your discipline use in this situation.
Oh, man.
Sal just doing Sal things. 1 success. I'm still trying to figure out if that sailboat is sinking.
I still can't believe you saw Sundance the first time, or Sundown the first time. Like
it was like 6 successes on 4 dice.
Yeah, it was
rolled
insanity.
Out of my mind.
Yeah, and Sundown was rocking like 8 dice. I'm like, it.
What happens when you give me an arch nemesis? I find them.
Cass got 8 successes on that.
You got a pigtail.
Pigtail.
As the coterie sort of heads out, you notice somebody slinking through the shadows, most assuredly assisted by Obfuscate, but you sort of see the way the shadows like cling and sort of try to help them. Hide, you see them almost like a beacon, like these wisps that trail up into the air, such as your madness. It is not sundown. And they're tailing you, essentially.
Do I have any note of their features at all?
Too far. Like, they're keeping a good distance. It seemed Nosferatu-y, No, sorry, Pix. Pallid skin, lacking in hair, exaggerated ears, but it's.
We're sewer rat slender, sure.
And I didn't do that. That was somebody else. I love rats. Rats are great. This is Icket Claw. I keep him under my monitor. He was my favorite. I would never slander a rat.
Thank you.
Would never compare a rat to a Nosferatu either. That's rude.
For who, the rat or the Nazi?
Rat, obviously.
I love that the clanism is coming out now that we're 11 sessions in. I'm automatically assuming the Tremere is going to Diablerize the Elder. That was also a little bit of a shots fired too, which was pretty great. That went unsung in the so that was pretty great. The subtlety in storytelling.
I paid attention to that. I paid.
Note Abby going the show don't tell route there. she didn't go overt clanist. She went subtle clanist, jumping to the conclusion instead of just going straight to the slurs of rats and stuff. Sorry.
I never said they're a rat. I just said don't compare them to rat. It's different.
Yeah.
And also, hi, Dobby.
Yeah, Dobby. Fuck Joanne, but you're adorable.
He's so stinky. I love him.
Yeah, he's the rescue. He's a good boy. And he doesn't conform to gender norms. He wears a pink collar because he's based as fuck. That's right. Sorry. Yeah. So you have someone tailing y'all using obfuscation, but not just obfuscation. They're stealthing as well. They're getting out of sight. They're a fucking pro.
Castle mentioned. We're being tailed by a pro.
Do you expect anything else?
It's not sundown either.
Shit. at least if it was him, I could just brush it off. Do you think it's Christian, maybe?
Maybe?
It's possible.
And we all go different directions.
Or just
Yeah,
invite him out
yeah.
into the streetlight.
Hold on to your
Or just get in the car and leave.
Right. We don't want to give them
Oh no,
anything.
he saw me get in my car. Oh no.
Well, here's an idea, and Pix is gonna lean in. Why don't we give them a show and catch them in the act, so to speak? After all, Nosferatu's hardly seeking secrets for just the sake of seeking them.
I mean, you went down, right?
Pix one to no one. What the rest of you think?
I'd say a little voyeurism never hurt anybody, but maybe someone will be getting hurt. And he'll just like look over at Sal.
God damn it, Sal. That's a preemptive goddamn it, Sal, too.
Well, hey, maybe Tommy needs a new friend.
He might
Dude,
get
this
lonely.
is unacceptable. You are not the guest star. You
He
are
is the guest star.
You're not a lapdog either.
Looks like
Dobby
he
is the one who's following us.
Yeah, the Nosferatu's name is Dob.
Duh.
Whatever their name was before, they're now Dob. Hello. Oh my god, this is not okay. I'm trying to run a game. This is not okay.
He's so cute, though.
Personal boundaries, dude. Personal boundaries. Okay.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so the two
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the two options then would be to go engage this person or just leave.
I say we engage them.
Are there rules about fighting in the parking lot of Elysium?
No, actually. Appreciate it though. Appreciate that you care.
I wouldn't want to break any rules.
He is a gentleman, after all, and besides, I doubt
Very
that
con-
anyone
very
will
considerate.
take well to it.
So
All right, fuck it.
Smiles that smile of.
All right.
You
so
guys go
I'm
do
gonna
what you
need
do.
Cass to show us. Cass, show us where he's at.
Cass will nod, like in his last known location, I guess.
The party, if they've got sense the unseen, they can roll their sense the unseen, which is wits awareness plus the sense the unseen dice. If you don't, you can roll the wits awareness to like see stuff get disrupted and see like some like a trash can get knocked over type stuff, to get a trajectory. Yo, I don't appreciate. I am not a booty post.
Getting some dog butt.
Yeah, this is not how this works, dude.
We might be able to plan a confrontation next session if Dobby is.
All right, I got 4 successes.
What do you need, buddy? Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? 4 successes? Yeah, I mean, you're going to see where, like a trash can, or, like, you can see, like, the crimp in the grass type stuff. Like, you're picking up on you have a general bearing. You don't know where they are, though. If you threw a grenade, you think you could make them have to, like, dive for cover, but you don't. Right.
Don't give me any ideas.
I don't know what's in that glove compartment of yours. Salvatore with 2.
So don't.
I don't know. I was thinking about having Cass let me have some, making me some car bombs, and then putting them underneath Miss Winters' vehicle.
That's an interesting direction to go with the plot so far. That's
a little extreme.
What if Abigail Winters is the good vampire? Like, what the hell?
She is.
She still would be.
She's my Chicago friend.
We're not the IRA.
You aren't.
A zoomer with that reference. Damn.
Look, you don't know.
You don't know where I've been.
Yeah.
I played a member of the IRA once in a game. That aside.
Look, my family may or may not have immigrated to America with IRA ties. We don't know.
I got
I'm
5.
140 years old. You don't know where I've been.
All right. You got 5? Yeah. Oh, okay. Heightened senses 5. You've got a little bit more honed in grenade bead type thing. Like if Ben Sahar has the footprints and disturbed grass, you've put the pieces together a little bit better to understand where this person is. You can't see them because they're fucking invisible with disciplines,
But enough to be able to describe kind of where I
Right.
suspect they are.
right.
I will relay that to everybody else.
Cass, who's sort of made them, they've recognized that they've been made, and sort of blur backwards and out of sight.
We scared the rats away. Well, back to where I can't see them.
Curious. Maybe it was just idle curiosity. But I have a feeling that somebody, somewhere, has an agenda they want to see filled, and we might just be the key to.
Well, we are the up-and-coming rising stars in Milwaukee, so why wouldn't somebody want to follow us?
Fair.
This is what fame or infamy looks like.
True story. Y'all managed to sort of head back to a neutral ground to wrap up the conversation. Whether it's club anything, like a random drop spot or whatever it is.
That was fun. We should go back sometime.
A little stuffy, if you ask me.
I want to find the Loch Ness Monster. I'm disappointed.
Well, I had fun.
I bet you did. I enjoyed the peacocking at the end.
Like I said earlier, hashtag just Toreador things.
You're exceedingly good at it.
What's a hashtag?
You know that pound sign on the old touchtone phones?
Yeah.
That thing.
I forget you're a neonate sometimes, bud. You make me feel young again.
It's what we're for. Speaking of feeling young again, Nails. I want to bring him up. Wake him up next night. And I want to be there.
Sure.
Apparently, it's a party to do that.
That's not going to be at the party, though. Just saying.
Pre-gaming, as you would.
Is the theme of the party Let's Wake the Dead?
You know what? That might be a pretty good theme.
You actually don't know how right you are.
You're waking the old timer? How you doing that?
Pixie will just shrug at Cass.
Magic.
I'm putting it in his hands, as unwise as that sounds.
Let's just make sure that we are a safe distance away when that happens, just in case.
Are you worried?
I would be foolish not to be.
I mean, you don't have to be there.
Oh, I will be there, but like I said, at a safe distance. You could do what you're going to do. Someone has to be there to take record.
A witness, if you would. And then we can all go to the welcome party after. Providing that we aren't eaten.
Always ask forgiveness before, not permission.
I swear, officer,
Right,
you
Pixie?
have the wrong party. There's something else down the road that was going on. It wasn't here. No, those aren't bodies strewn about the building behind me. That's just decorations.
That's not a masquerade breach. There's a huge loud party over there.
You know what? Let me take you to it.
It sounds like the coterie is throwing a party. And a ritual of resurrection, basically.
Ain't no party till the dead rise.
Damn right.
That's what Mom always said.
I want to know what your mom said.
Salvatore.
Yeah.
You hear this sort of choir of words. Not finished. Out in loss limb kin. Kin. You owe them kin.
Any stabbing pain in the neck accompany that, or just
Yeah, and you get flashes of a tree. Not finished, kin. Finished, kin.
what we done here tonight?
By blood, moon, or song, it will be done.
And this tree just won't leave you be.
And we can call it there with the bad pun.
Perfect.
+1 XP for everyone for bad pun. Ending the episode.
Hell yeah.
And
Plus one for sundown.
+1 for sundown not dying. Sundown showing up and not getting dead, so sundown hack. And then we'll give y'all a hefty 3 XP for the evening. The whole coterie back together again, navigating Elysium, some great character RP, just across the board from everybody, just in the moment, everywhere, at all times. Character conflict, like coterie conflict, like chef's kiss. Probably a boring show to watch, but like to play, that was, I loved that personally. So that was pretty great. But yeah, I'll let y'all. We ran over by about 30 minutes, so I'll let you all peace out. And I need to take Dobby outside anyway, so...
I'm about to pass out. I've been streaming a total of 9 hours this week. But oh my god, I love y'all, and what an amazing game. Feels good to be back in Milwaukee.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Welcome to the magic of streaming.
Yeah, it's the best.